In the world we live in today, we are constantly surrounded by success stories. Everywhere you go, there's a story of someone who clawed their way up to the top from nothing. This is true of the physical world we inhabit, where businesses are often very proud to tell you their storied history from a mom and pop shop to an industry titan or whatever. But it's especially true on the internet. All over social media, there are people who, in just about any industry or niche, who find their way to come into success and onto your screen. Influencers, we call them. People who have made their lives about being in your life, on your screen, talking about, selling you on some idea or another, using their personalities, their appearance, and skills to buy your attention. The success story of someone being able to pay their bills and living expenses by making videos about the things they love have become so incredibly commonplace nowadays that a story like mine might leave some people a little baffled, either by my path or the fact that I'm still here doing this today. Good morning, afternoon, evening, or late night, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise. My name is Marcus Future. You can call me the Timeline Man. I've been making YouTube videos for more than 10 years now. As you might be able to see if you look around my internet profiles, I've rarely found any meaningful or gainful success on the internet in terms of content creation. Side note, if my stuff manages to blow up by the time you're seeing this might have a very different tone than when I'm seeing this. As of right now, I'm comedically far from the requirements to monetize either of my two YouTube channels. I've been both close to and far from reaching Twitch affiliate about a dozen times now, and the only real money I've gotten from the internet is a $1.50 game that I sell on itch that, at time of writing and time of recording, has made about as much money as the single sale of a AAA video game. Over the course of multiple years, it's not exactly rent-paying money. Let me be clear before I get any further, though. This is not some "woe is me, why am I not successful yet" type of video. Over this time, and as I've grown older, I've reflected many times, see where I fall short, attempt to grow in those areas, rinse and repeat. Working normal jobs alongside my content creation has often left me with a lot of time to mull these things over, consider my options and beliefs. Ultimately, I think there are a few components to failure. They are defining success, not having that success, the emotional response, and then there's the most important part, what comes after that, moving past it, which has its own steps: self-reflection and reconsideration, and then redefining success, usually as a short-term or specified version of the previous definition of success. Now, I know in school that listing out the main points to an essay at the start is poor form and kind of lazy, but it's simple and clean, and it lets me take these things in order, and then you'll all know what's coming up next. So without further ado, let's get into step one. In order to fail, you have to know what it means to succeed. Sounds like a profound quote from somewhere other than some weirdo's YouTube channel, but I said it, and to my knowledge, I didn't get it from anywhere in particular, so I'm going to attribute it to myself. Yes, in order to fail, we need to know that we failed by some sort of metric, which means we need a metric to measure. It is, I'd argue, human nature to shoot for the moon in ambitions. Newcomers to just about any business, hobby, art form are going to have an initial goal that is absurd for their skill level. Throughout this video, I'm going to compare it to my own YouTube journey and also to my art journey, just because that's easy and it should be easy to comprehend for most people watching this video, which is also on YouTube. When I very first uploaded a video, I never put a definition to success. It wasn't until a good few months later that I decided I wanted to try to be a YouTuber, which, keeping in mind, I was a middle schooler at the time, meant making a living via my videos, having an active comment section, and making the kind of money that would allow me to renovate my childhood home. You know, obviously, a child who was uploading silent, trashy gameplay of a Halo clone from a library computer was not going to achieve that sort of insane success. I know that, but no matter how much you temper your own expectations, though, you are unlikely to meet them initially. This is a simple byproduct of not having this specific experience. Most often, as was in my example from earlier with the YouTube channel, a starting definition for succeeding in anything is usually whatever society at large defines success as for that field. Most often, this is about becoming a professional, making money enough to live off of while doing the activity, With other hobbies, it may be a massive project that gets a wow from all your friends, or something to that effect. Uh, it's a first leap where your journey should start with a first step, and it results in falling flat on your face just outside your door. Well, you made the leap, you fell on your face, maybe skidded a bit, and you have friction burns, and you're currently laying there, inhaling gravel. By the time you spit the rocks out, it will dawn on you that you have not reached your success, for one reason or another. How close you got really defines how much this is going to sting, as well as your own temperament. Returning to my own YouTube journey, the point where I realized that YouTube wasn't really growing at all was about when I was probably going into high school, which was a good couple years after I uploaded my first video. At the time, I think I had like 10 subscribers, I want to say. And at the time, there wasn't tiers of YouTube monetization. Either you had monetization or you didn't. That was it. And I was miles away from that. I realized most of my subscribers were people that I knew personally, and one of them was literally an alternate channel I had for no other reason than to make it look like I had a subscriber. Once that realization hit, the emotions came. So, for my YouTubing example, I actually didn't have much of an emotional response. Realizing just how far away the dream of YouTuber money was for me allowed me to take a moment to reprioritize almost immediately. That kind of comes with the benefit of having been in high school and not really needing money. So instead, I have a second example for my life, which was being an artist in the artist alley. My first time vending as an artist, I knew not to expect a profit, but with more expected unexpected money spent, and because of the hotel, which is a story I hope to tell in a different video someday, I had hoped to at least recoup a chunk of that. That weekend went really poorly for me. Because of the money situation in my life that followed, I truly struggled to stock and expand to vend at another con, which I will be doing this year. I don't know if this video is going up before or after that. On the first day, I sold basically nothing. I hadn't expected that result. To say that hurt my pride and my emotions feels like I might undercut how I was feeling towards the end of that Friday. I was effectively panicking. Thanks to the wonderful support of my husband, I didn't have an actual panic attack, but it was starting to feel like I might. Why was I panicking, though? Hadn't I known I wasn't going to make a profit anyway? Yeah, I did on the surface of things. Underneath that, though, I truly believed I had items worth buying and nobody wanted them. There was a lot more to the feelings I felt during that convention. I'm still organizing my thoughts and figuring out how I plan to try again. Hopefully, I can make a video on that topic sometime soon. The point I'm trying to reinforce here is that no matter how logically you temper your expectations, there's always likely to be some hidden expectation anyway. And if not even that is met, you're going to feel disappointment. And depending on what kind of resources you invested into the failure, even more extreme emotions. Like I said, I was panicking because I had spent multiple $100s on the hotel room alone and 100 more than I had expected to due to fees and nonsense that I didn't notice. But regardless of the emotions that accompany your failures, you will always have some level of control as to how you act upon feeling those emotions. I won't lie, at Con, my emotions about the failure I was having definitely soured my interactions with some of the other artists there, and that falls on me. It's never someone else's fault that you're experiencing an emotion. Remember that. Taking frustrations or disappointments out on other people only makes other people hold you at arm's length. It's never going to make you feel better, and it's never going to help make the failed project not failed. In the same breath, I want to tell you your emotions about your failure are valid emotions, but you need to process that for yourself. Dragging other people into it is not conducive to success in the future. Hey, maybe this is advice you could use outside of big things in your life. You might be able to understand this when you've been on a losing streak in a video game or something. The previous three sections were about what it is to fail, very much the during portion of the process that is failing. The following sections are going to be about the after process. I would try to say something about the before stage of this process, but there isn't much there. I'm not going to tell you to go about life expecting to fail. That'd be nihilistic and depressing. Not to mention, incredibly unrealistic. Statistically, no one's going to succeed at everything they do, but they also aren't going to fail at everything they do. So keep it up. Whatever it is you're doing and failing to do at the moment, if nothing else, I believe in you, like how I believe in you to press the subscribe button. Since you've been watching this far and all, might as well join in for the long haul, huh? Maybe? No? Okay, it's whatever. It's your life. I'm not your dad. Anyway, moving on to what comes next. After you've fallen down, scraped your knees and hands, cried a little bit, and stood back up, it is now time to get learning. And lessons are the best part about failing. Kind of by default, because the other parts suck. The first instinct you're going to have is more than likely to figure out why you failed, but I would encourage you to answer how you failed first. How, or a better phrase, probably how much, which is more measurable. Use some sort of measurable metrics for where you consider success to be and determine how far away those metrics you were from. If the case is something like a YouTube channel or running an artist booth, these metrics are super easy to pinpoint and even easier to measure. But a lot of things aren't like that, so the time spent on this step may vary wildly. Once you have that how, then you can start trying to answer why. If you try to answer why first, you may be running bumper cars with the emotional response from earlier, which is likely to cause you to point blame. Blaming people is not the road to improvement, it's a road to bitterness and loneliness. If you take the time to measure yourself first, you also place distance of time from your initial emotional response, which usually allows you to process that reaction more fully and allow a better analysis for causes. So, what is the why for failure if not placing blame? Well, it is by and large market research. I'm using a sort of sales term here because it fits both of the examples I've given. Uh, but in a realm where this doesn't fit, the term might be something like game analysis, cause and effect thinking, stuff like that. There's plenty of terms for it. Using this YouTube channel's early days as an example, my early videos had no point to them, even less quality. There was a target audience in mind, and so its audience became no one. Duh. Furthermore, I put basically no effort into things like thumbnails, editing, or even titling my videos. My early attempts to grow started with making videos that had an objective of some sort. My most popular video, for example, comes from those early days somewhat. The goal of the video was to showcase Bakugan Battle Brothers for the Wii, because it was a game I really liked at the time, and saw almost no content surrounding it and wanted to make my own. There's an objective there, a goal, some sort of audience. Though I didn't know that when I made the video, I think I was still in middle school. Also, the video's gone now, because it doesn't really fit my channel anymore. That's only one example. I'm well aware of why my channel currently does not have such big numbers, though that's not really a failure, all because after all the previous tribulation and turmoil, it's time to go again. After a reasoned analysis of the situation, you can set a new goal for yourself, which separates your goal from the wider population's idea of what your goal is or should be. People tend to think that a YouTuber just wants to get big, get money, get brand deals, maybe evolve into a quote-unquote real celebrity. Not me, though. I've been doing this as something of a hobby for most of the time I've been doing it, and as such, my goals have been very different. This is why you don't see me chasing after my most successful content all that hard. If I did, I'd be either a Bakugan YouTuber or some sort of doomer about gaming news, maybe? I don't know, that's kind of my most popular thing now. And that'd be weird, and it's not what I want to do. So then, what is success for me for YouTube? Right now, it's about feeling improvement in my on-mic presence, how I speak, how big of a gap I leave in my talking during videos and streams, stuff like that. Working on making engaging thumbnails and improving my editing skills to some degree. That's why I've been making a few more of these essay-type videos, trying to branch out little by little, to understand more of the tools at my disposal. In this sense, many of my recent videos have been successful in my eyes, some of which seems to have brought some more of the traditional success that people seek on this platform, views and view time. So that's really all I have to say on this matter for now. I thought to make this video in a few places more recently, because I've kind of branded myself a chronic failure, namely in a retrospective video from a previous year, And it got me thinking, and my thinking develops best if I have someone to direct it, which this time around was the writing of this script. I have made one video kind of similar in topic to this before, and it didn't do very well, even by my own standards and opinions. So I guess we'll see how I feel about this video about a week after it goes up or so. For now, I feel pretty good about the idea and direction of this video. Thank you to everyone who stuck around through this whole thing. That means a lot to me, since I'm probably a little too curious about my analytics every time I make a video like this, which means if you're seeing this, I will know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next we meet, stay safe out there, and look out for each other, because no one should be alone when the going gets rough.